All right.
Yeah.
Episode 3.
Episode 3.
We're in it.
Yeah.
Let's start off right.
Okay.
How was your week?
My week. Oh yeah, we've never done a week recap, have we?
No.
My week was good. I just started doing landscaping during the day when I don't have any personal training like strength and conditioning clients in the morning. So this week I had a few days of that. That's been the newest addition to my schedule. So I guess that's what stands out the most. Like this is my first time doing it, or like 2 weeks in a row I've done it 3 days. So that stands out. Other than that, the usual. I'm going to a yoga class tonight. I don't do that very often.
Hot yoga?
Yeah, I think it is. So
What's
I don't know.
They just crank the heat up to like 95 and...
Yeah, this is actually something I could say. I did a hot yoga class one time. I've done it a couple times, but one time I did it, I know for sure it was very, very intense. One time it was a little more gentle and maybe not quite as hot. But I don't know the temperatures, but I did one that was about an hour and a half, maybe 80 minutes. And it was one of the more intense things I've put myself through. I was shocked that it's something that, 65-year-old women can do regularly and just nonstop. Have you ever done it?
No, I've never done yoga.
Yeah, you would be fine with like a normal gentle yoga, or if you went to like a normal class that wasn't hot yoga, you would there would be challenging and maybe your body would get a little, but the nature of hot yoga at this place was intense, dude. Like I was in a pigeon pose looking at myself, which is like your face is close to the mat.
What's a pigeon pose?
You got you're basically doing like a split stretch with your front leg is bent. Like a banana split, like 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. They call that a front split.
Yeah.
But the front leg is like curved. So it's like, your knees pointing forward or kind of off to the side a little. Yeah. And the rear leg is extended, but you're like, it's not that important, but your one leg's back and one leg's forward and you're lying this was a face down one. And my face is only a couple inches from the mat. And I could see my reflection in the giant puddle of sweat in this dark room. I could see my face in a very dark room. It was pretty dark, maybe not completely dark, candles lit, but you wouldn't expect to be able to see much in a reflect. It was odd to see. Maybe, it's dimly lit. Maybe just candles is how this one worked. You definitely can see. Your eyes adjust to as it goes. Maybe, I'm not sure. But tonight, I don't know how it's going to be. Yoga's all right, but I don't think it's not what everyone thinks. It doesn't feel like you're just stretching or something. Like if you did a normal yoga class, you would probably just feel exhausted in your back, maybe your feet. I don't know.
It's supposed to be like a full body workout, right?
Yeah, it's a loose term. So there's so many forms of just yoga. There's Bikram yoga, which I believe is in the mid-20s of poses. And it's the same set of poses done a certain way at a certain temperature. That is a form of hot yoga. There's vinyasa. I don't know what's what. There's forms of yoga that are really long, kind of passive holds. So you might do 5-minute holds. Once you get a little warmed up, you might be sitting in one pose for 5 minutes. That's a stretchy type position. And it's breathing oriented. Sometimes that, is it holotropic breathing? Some sort of breathing.
In through your nose, out through your mouth type stuff?
But it could be done rapidly. Maybe there's one form of yoga that is you have a spotter and they're looking at your legs, or maybe your legs are bent and somebody's nearby you and you're supposed to breathe in and out through your nose. They occasionally do it. It's 3 hours straight of kind of a...
Oh, so you just hyperventilate yourself.
Yeah, I've done it with rapid breathing. There's this guy, Wim Hof, who they call the Iceman, who can go on in sub-zero shit.
Yeah, and
he just breathes all breathing techniques.
He'll sit for 3 hours in freezing cold water or something.
Yeah, I've never been able to handle the cold through breathing, but I will say that there is something to the rapid breathing as far as relaxation and the effect it might have when you're doing different poses in yoga, just being able to forcefully breathe or to do slow controlled breathing, any sort of breathing exercise. is beneficial, but the rapid breathing is wild, man. It really makes you recover after a tough workout, and it can definitely make you settle into one before, and it definitely makes you be able to hold your breath really long, because typically holding my breath over a minute is just tough to do.
Yeah.
But after a cycle of that stuff, I would bank on 2 minutes plus.
Really?
Easily. I think so. I know I've done it. Like
2 minutes you could hold your breath.
Yeah.
What's a cycle? How long's a cycle?
So there's a bunch of different ways you could do it. If you were to just rapid breathe a bunch, I would say this would be the best way to do it. You would do anywhere from 30 to 75 rapid breaths, any hole, nose, mouth, get as much air in and out as fast as you can. Thinking about pretty full breathing, but the idea is the most oxygen possible. So if you're doing too big of a breath of air, you might not have a quick enough tempo. If you do too short of a breath of air, it might not be enough per breath. So it's a skill you acquire, but think, how much oxygen could I get into my system at the fastest rate? So it would just be like, and maybe you would just improve from there, but you just got to start somewhere. And then you would just kind of get deeper into your belly. You would think about your belly breathing. You would think about relaxing, and you would just try and get into a zone and just try and turn off your thoughts. And it is the fast lane to meditation. So you immediately lose all your thoughts. The second you start, like maybe 100 breaths in, you pretty much have cleared your mind.
So a cycle is just
okay,
one round.
So
like do it for like 20
I would
minutes.
say this,
and then you can hold your breath for 2 minutes.
So you would do the 75, or let's say 30 to 75 rapid breaths, followed by an exhale hold, meaning you breathe all your air out.
Yeah.
And then hold as long as you can, all your air in, and hold that for maybe 10 to 15 seconds and repeat. And just do that maybe 10 cycles, and you'll be really able to hold your breath long.
So just like oxygenate your nates.
We're just in
your blood.
Do you even think, even if that is the way that would be pronounced, do you think that's a word? Oxygenate. I don't know.
It's got to be.
Oxygen.
I feel like I've heard it before.
If not, we should get on that.
See, that's why you should have brought your fucking computer.
Yeah. We could buy the rights to words that don't exist yet.
And the fucking king of Google.
Can you do that? This word, I think it'll be a word one day. Can buy the rights to a word?
Yeah, you can fucking trademark it.
That's true. Oxygenate.
Paris
it's probably
Hilton.
It's at least trademarked if it's not a word.
Paris Hilton trademarked "That's hot."
Okay, I didn't know that.
You get paid anytime anybody uses it.
Oh yeah. Oh, to wrap up the rapid breathing. Breathing like that in general can be considered a form of yoga. Like my one yoga instructor buddy, who I do strength and conditioning for sometimes, tells me that if you approach strength and conditioning like with a similar mentality that you approach yoga, that you could then even consider that a form of yoga. There's iron yoga. People do it with weights. I'm not saying every yogi, if that's what they want to be called. I don't know what
that's the teacher.
Yeah, if every yogi would agree with him or this, but in general, almost anything that involves focusing on your breathing and like, I don't know what qualifies as being yoga, but you'd be shocked that it's a pretty broad thing. All that being said, general yoga is a mixture of like strengthening your core, adding stability to the body, kind of a symmetrical balancing out sort of thing would be the way, full range of motion in all joints and a balanced, kind of workout. So it is strengthening. Will increase flexibility, but if you've never done it, it will not feel like stretching very often. That's for sure. Unless you're really doing like a certain specified.
If you've
general
never
yoga.
done it,
if you've never done yoga, it will not feel like you're just stretching.
Oh, it'll feel like more of a workout.
Well, yeah, like a pose. There's a pose, downward dog, where you get in like a push-up position and you lift your hips as high as you can.
Yeah.
You've seen that, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some things to work on. You want to try and straighten your legs a little bit, lift your hips, have a spine at a certain angle. Heels will slowly drop to the ground. All these things you can think about. And it might take a while to master that pose. If you're an advanced yogi, that's a pose that could be considered a passive, easy stretch. Like not a stretch, but what would feel like a stretch to somebody. Like, but to not somebody who's never done yoga, I bet 35 seconds to a minute of downward dog is going to start feeling torturous. And to control your breathing through it would be very tough.
My hamstrings would snap.
You would feel stuff like that. Yeah, men definitely are at a disadvantage through the early stages of yoga, I would say. The hip-wise, ankle-wise, you just don't have, and maybe stability-wise too. Maybe we're a little top-heavy. I'm not sure. Women seem to be able to get into the poses much better. They're naturally a little bit more
flexible,
mobile, yeah. And the hip anatomy is different for sure. Squatting is much easier for women than men as far as mechanically.
Really?
Way easier. As somebody who's taught squats for double-digit years, is probably the lift I teach the most to pretty much everyone, a form of a squat.
Yeah.
Women almost always knock it out of the park, and you can tell when they're going to be peculiar with, like, very narrow-hipped women might look a little bit different. Like if they have that kind of like oddly more narrow hips than their torso kind of look, like extremely narrow hips for a woman.
Yeah.
That they might have more problem squatting. And then if they have extremely long femurs in relationship to their torso and shins, those are the factors. Okay. So
cool.
That's my week.
got it.
That was my week, guys. How was your week?
My week was all right. It was good.
Yeah.
It was just a week. I had work. Actually looking forward to doing this.
Yeah. Do you watch like a show during the week? Is there something that like you string along in your own time that?
Not really, no.
Just kind of like hanging out with the girlfriend, the dog, just kind of
pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. That's what my life consists of. Is she gets home from work and then I cook dinner and then we just kind of watch what's ever on. That's about it.
Yeah.
It's not a very exciting, but I like it.
Dude, I'm glad. Well, I'm glad you appreciate it because a lot of people don't realize like at times I wonder what it would feel like to just live like that again a little bit, where I don't have so much going on and I can just focus on a few things. The easiness of that, I definitely miss at times. I'm looking forward to a time in my life where I've kind of settled in, I'm comfortable with what I do, and it's just kind of, it's easy. It's easy living. I want easy living.
I also don't like answering the "what are you watching" question because I feel like it's such a fucking obligatory question to ask.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
It's such a small talk fucking question. It's like when you go hang out with a group of people that you haven't seen for a while. And it's like, oh, what are you watching on Netflix? Like that's all we have to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. It's I was just curious what you do. Do you stay home most nights during the week?
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
Yeah. We stay home most nights.
It is interesting to think of TV though is a little different now. Like you don't just you don't have cable here, right?
No, we do.
Oh, so do you just turn on regular TV a lot in the background?
Well, we'll do that or watch something on like HBO Go or Netflix or something.
Okay. Not a lot of people, like I don't have cable. I mean, I guess I can watch it via the internet, like I'll pull up illegal streams for stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Mainly for live sports. Other than that, I mean, it's all Netflix or other forms of streaming, Hulu, or just Googling for random ways to watch things.
I want to get rid of cable because I'm tired of getting fucked by Comcast.
Oh yeah, it's crazy now, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
How much does cable cost?
Dude, for internet and TV, no phone line, just internet and TV, it's like $150 a month. And it's like basic fucking cable.
Do you have like a DVR or anything?
No.
Ugh.
Not even the DVR function. I mean, if you're watching a show, you can pause it. Or you can rewind.
It's got like a temporary thing. Yeah. Maybe for as long as you've been watching it.
It'll give you like a 20-minute buffer. Like you could pause the show for 20 minutes, go do something, then come back and fast forward through the commercials.
That's essentially what it's for.
It's a fucking ripoff.
Oh,
it's a ripoff. And considering most of the shit that I watch is either on it's on some sort of streaming platform.
if you wanted to get cable and get it right, like, you know what? I want to be able to watch the NFL. I want the NFL Network. I want every type of sport thing I can get. I want all the premium TV. Why not? I got the money. Showtime, HBO, Cinemax. I want this. Is there just like the deluxe? Like, I want the works.
Dude,
you get the DVRs and everything.
It's got it
would $250, $300.
It's probably like fucking $400.
You could get a $400 package just to get pretty much all of the things that are normal, like offered, like common enough.
All the movie channels, all the sports shit. But it's fucking pointless to even have the movie channels now.
It's so crazy to me to think that that's how much it costs.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Ooh, and I just. DVR is definitely convenient. I when I had cable, that was like a nice thing to schedule things to record, and but I haven't had normal cable in a long time. I do miss the mindless shows. This is something I definitely wanted to cover. Thought it'd be good to talk about just general favorites, anything that pops in mind when I was browsing my head for ideas to talk about for today. I know we both had a couple things. What was your favorite, like, mindless TV show that you grew up on? I don't even think this is nuanced. Like, it could be like think of things like Judge Judy, Judge Mathis. What's your best Judge show?
I never. Well, see,
you didn't watch them.
I didn't. Well, no, I did watch them because I grew up in a rural area.
Yeah,
and we didn't get cable or high-speed internet until like 9th grade of high school. So from till about 9th grade in high school, I only had bunny ears. I had like 6 fucking channels.
Yeah, I remember those days. I remember, I don't know how long. I got satellite pretty early. We had satellite. But did you watch, like, remember Jenny Jones and Ricky Lake?
Dude, I watched all of them. Jenny Jones, Maury. I watched a shitload of Maury.
I love the Send My Kid to Boot Camp episodes. Those are so good, man.
I loved it. I loved how, like, fake shitty those kids were.
Yeah. Remember Cheaters? Remember the show Cheaters?
Oh, my God, yeah.
The guy got stabbed on an episode. Did you ever see that one?
Yeah, I did.
For people who don't know, Cheaters was just a show where they would hire a detective. How real do you think it was?
I mean,
probably not very real.
No, all the reality TV is scripted as fuck. But
yeah, they hired him to search. I mean, to go around and investigate, and then they're a cheater. I guess sometimes they find out that they're not cheating, right?
No, I don't think so. That defeats the purpose of the show.
I can't remember.
That's non-cheater.
But somebody he confronted, I can't remember now in my head. I think they were on like a boat or something.
Yeah. I think he did get fucking stabbed.
Got stabbed. That might have been real.
Cops is the only real reality show.
Cops is still a big thing.
I watched
in hotel rooms.
Dude, I watched a fuckload of Cops. And Seventh Heaven.
What's the most watchable show? What, like, that you could just put on and just watch? Like
now or then?
Well, if you have one of then, say it. But then, yeah, now in general.
Actually, this is pretty appropriate because you're wearing a Mouse Rat show. A shirt.
Yeah.
Either Parks and Rec or The fucking Office.
Yeah, The Office.
I can watch. We go to bed every night watching The Office on Netflix.
I could watch it every night. I'm currently rewatching The Office.
Legitimately, I've probably cycled through that entire series probably 12 times at this point.
Yeah, I'm probably similar. That is by far my favorite show ever. It is too funny.
There's a couple episodes that are like okay, but for the most part, they're all pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, after Michael Scott leaves, it's a little hit and miss. But, but up until he leaves, every episode is worth watching. Sometimes I will be picky and choosy through the episodes, and I'll like only watch certain episodes again and again and again. And then it'll be time where I'm like, all right, I'm going to rewatch it all. And then it gets to episodes I'm less excited for because I remember not liking them, and I'll recognize some new joke or something, and I'll wind up loving the episode.
Yeah.
It so many times I've noticed that.
Like you said, there's just subtle nuances within there that you can pick up that you didn't see before, and it just makes it just as good.
Is it character development that makes TV shows so much funnier than a movie? I mean, is there many movies that are comedies that are as funny as funny TV shows?
Not now.
I can't think of them, man. I mean, I know like Superbad and Knocked Up and all that stuff was like a wave of funny ones. Forgetting Sarah Marshall was probably the funniest of those ones to me.
Is that a Judd Apatow movie?
I don't think it is, but it has some similar people, I guess. There's like because Jonah Hill is in it, I guess. He's in that one, right?
Yeah.
And he's in not James Franco.
James and the Giant Peach.
Jeff Siegel, whatever his freaking name is. I don't know all the people's names.
Oh yeah, what the fuck? Jason Siegel.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's just something I think about all the time when I watch. Have you ever had that thought about why aren't movies funnier? So many comedy movies are just bad. Like if you just watch some movie, say that has, who's the guy from Wedding Crashers and Dodgeball?
Vince Vaughn.
If you just watch a Vince Vaughn movie that came out that maybe wasn't too popular, but had a decent release, maybe didn't get good reviews, average, it's probably not going to make you laugh like it all. Or no, am I wrong?
No, actually you're right, but this might be a fucking hot take, but I'll say that about Swingers. People like fucking love Swingers.
Yeah.
It's an early Vince Vaughn movie and Jon Favreau.
I saw it when I was younger because it was so regarded. Like it would be a movie like Clerks that gets brought up. Yeah. And I don't even like Clerks.
And it didn't blow you away like everybody said it would. Like, this is the funniest fucking movie you'll ever watch. Yeah, it was okay. And maybe I turned it off.
Yeah. I can't think of a shoe-in to be fun. Like, when I think of funny, I don't know if you ever watched Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But, like, that is so obviously funny. I would say, how could you not think Curb Your Enthusiasm is funny at times? It's relatable enough. It's observational. And I mean, I know cynical characters can get annoying. I mean, we're having Joe Robinson on for that very reason, but, I don't know. I think it's so funny, but I can't think of a movie that I would guarantee to be funny. What would be a guaranteed funny movie? Like Office Space?
No.
One
movie that gets me every fucking time is Step Brothers.
I was just going to say, is it Step Brothers?
When that movie came out,
that's up there.
Me and our scientist friend. I don't want to say. Say his name, but
yeah, I know him.
We were living together, and that was like 2008. We got that shit on DVD and legitimately watched it like every fucking day.
Yeah, it's something else. I really I love Step Brothers, but here's something about it that I will say. Even though I love it as a comedy, and I would put it up there as a recommendation for most people if they hadn't seen it, where I would be like, this might be a movie that you think is absolutely hilarious. It falls apart like most comedies do.
Yeah, towards the end.
The last like 30 minutes outside of the, is it Boats and Hose?
Yeah, when they crashed the sailboat.
Outside of that, it's kind of hard to watch the last 30 or so for me. I get a little bored.
Yeah.
The plot falls apart a little.
I'll agree with that.
And that's your shoe. That's like the best.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Now we are.
Cool. We had a little technical difficulty. We don't know what happened, and we lost maybe a couple minutes, but
computers. It was the same fucking tangent that we were going on, just talking about comedies and stuff.
We did say that the one point to be made was Step Brothers, even though it's very, very funny,
it falls apart.
It falls apart at the end is what I brought up. And it's odd how many, even the greatest comedies we consider don't. I mean, don't hold up throughout the whole movie. Like even something that's considered an amazing comedy, we kind of just forgive the fact that the last 30 minutes is just bullshit or kind of mediocre.
Filler.
Yeah. It's odd. I think we're getting away from that more and more. That was a very 90s thing. From the Dumb and Dumbers to those type of movies, the plot takes over at the end and the jokes are less and the plot isn't that good. But okay, we don't have to re-go through that whole thing, but What are some things, before we just keep going down into this, what are things or a thing or two, whatever you said, you add that you want to talk about? Because I don't know what you did want to talk about.
I got some notes written down.
Ooh, he's prepared.
Just some shit I thought about throughout the course of the week.
This is the first edition of Steve's Notes.
Yeah.
A weekly thing.
These are my points. One thing I thought about that made me laugh was the LOL, lots of love.
Lots of love. What is this in reference to?
It was on Facebook for you. There, like, somebody had passed away in your family or something.
Oh, God. Yes. The LOL.
And a family member was sending LOL.
Yes, lots of love. I do remember that. It was like you get them damn, like, it's barely a family member, man. It's like somebody you kind of know.
Oh, I thought it was your mom.
No, I don't think it was my mom. It could have been my mom. I don't remember. I know I have another aunt that does do LOL, lots of love. I do have, not another aunt, but I do have an aunt, but she's like, or maybe she's like a second cousin. I don't know how the hell we're related. I just see her at stuff on my dad's side of the family when people die, or pretty much. That's
and she's just laughing.
And she's my Facebook friend. Yeah, the LOL thing. That's been done a lot as a stand-up comedy joke.
Really?
Yeah, it's a commonly like tossed around thing, but it really does happen. It really did happen to me.
That's a true. I didn't know that.
I wish I remembered that story better. So that note,
because she was sending it to, like, I remember when you came into work.
My God, I do know what it was.
Yeah,
my mom sent it to all of the contacts to something, and I had to tell her that people would think maybe she meant LOL. Like laughing out loud. Yes, it was to me and like 8 other relatives in a group message.
Not to laugh at a terrible situation.
I think it was my mom. I'm pretty positive it was my mom. It might not have been, but I think it was. I don't have the best memory of it, but I think that's the scenario. We're sticking with that.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
What else do I have? I only got 4 points.
Okay, well, that's good.
So we already covered lots of love.
Yes.
LOL. The other thing I was thinking about. Oh, what were the analytics for last week's episode?
I think we did similarly, about 20-ish, just over 20.
Really?
Yeah.
For the second episode?
I'm pretty sure. I'd have to double check, but I think so.
No shit.
Maybe I'm pretty sure. I was just looking at the total number, so maybe this time I was only looking at the total number of downloads. So some of them might have been the first episode again, or like more first episode. But we've almost doubled our numbers since I released the second episode of downloads.
That's cool then.
Yeah,
because I was thinking about it, and I was kind of thinking that it's kind of good that we're not getting like crazy numbers of downloads. Because we're just starting out. We're just trying to figure shit out.
Yeah.
And
that's an interesting thing about the podcast, talking about how we're figuring ourselves out, is through my experience, I think it's best just to get the ball rolling with doing things.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I haven't promoted it at all. Because I want to get like a couple, like I want to get my feet under me. When it comes to like talking on the mic and doing all that shit and coming up or creating content, coming up with that.
But friends are pretty forgiving and friends are excited to listen.
Yeah.
You're definitely right as far as that goes. It's not worth putting a ton of time into. But I think a lot of the people who are my friend who listened to the first one, who regularly listen to podcasts, they'll probably keep listening.
Yeah. And that was another thought that I had is, how many bands do you listen to where you're like, yeah, the fucking first album sucked, but everything after that is awesome. So it's the way I equate it to that is like, it's a growing process.
Yeah.
First episode was probably pretty good, I think, just because of the content, and we're just going to continue to grow and continue to get better. And that's kind of where I thought that it was a good thing that a lot, because you have wider reach than I do. So if you put something up on Facebook or any kind of social media, you're gonna a lot more people are gonna see it than me. Than if I
I understand that's definitely the case, and I only posted one time on my Facebook, and that's it. And links take they're a little bit harder to get the ball rolling. As far as things go, I didn't do as much of a write up. So like my first Facebook post, it's like an announcement. We have a podcast. People are commenting, cool, all this. And it keeps it in people's news feeds. This second one, not as much like interaction on the Facebook thing. So because of that, probably less people even saw that it was released, but I'm not worried about it because if anyone who wanted to listen to it and listen to the first one will eventually see one of the ones I released and then be like, oh, we missed an episode or two. I'm not overly worried about it until we have content that we think really should be heard or is worth putting out there.
Then we'll start pushing it. Like when we get a guest, pretty much.
Guest episodes, it's definitely nice to do that. And our next episode should be a guest episode. I think at the very least it will be if it's not Tommy, but I think it's going to be Tommy Simbazo.
That'll be tight.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but we'll definitely try for a guest this next episode, which should not be hard to do.
Yeah, so that was basically my whole thing is that it's people are hearing it, but not a lot of people are hearing it. It's like training wheels, basically. Like getting me into it. You're used to it, I'm not. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, it's the process of getting to anything new. When you're in a band, like when you're in a band, when is a song ready to be recorded and made as a product? When are you ready to invite your friends out to see you? When is this? Who knows? But chances are you're not going to be that good the first time, and it's okay, and they're forgiving. Maybe some of them never get interested in again. I think that about my stand-up comedy. Because I tried so hard to get people out early on and those sets were so bad. Or if they only saw really bad sets, it's like I can remember sets that were particularly bad where that's the only time those people saw me do stand-up comedy. So what do they think of me as a stand-up comedian? And when I post things after that, are they less interested? Are they less likely to click a clip? Or are they more curious? I don't know. Because they wonder if it's better. Or, man, he's been doing comedy this whole time. He's had to have gotten better.
Well, see, that's how my brain works. Is I want to see the progression.
Yeah,
like in stuff, regardless of what it is. I want to hear I want to hear a band get better. I want to listen to like the very first episode of a podcast and listen to the progression. Like, yeah, it sucked at first, but now I'm laughing my fucking balls off every time or interested in what they have to say.
When you do the groundwork and you really invest in it, it's hard. This is the nature of podcasting. If you like hearing the two people talk and you've learned them well enough, it's hard for them to release a bad episode.
Yeah. Because there's an attachment that's, or not an attachment, like kind of a bond that's grown.
Yes.
It's like an artificial bond where you think that you know the people, and because they've become a part of your life, because you listen to them for an hour a day,
absolutely,
a week.
Dude, I mean, when I think about it with Joe Rogan, his podcasts are probably on average easily 2 hours, 20 minutes, 2 hours, 30 minutes. They go up to 3, typically hit close to the 2 hour mark minimum. And I don't know what they're on, dude, but you're getting close to, it's well over 1,000 episodes, well over 1,000. When you think about that, the people who've listened to every Joe Rogan episode, I'm imagining there are podcasts that have more time and morning DJs who've done more total time, but that's a lot of damn time. You really have come to know them or know him and feel like there is some sort of bond and understanding. And it's just a different type of thing when you listen to it, having put in all of that work. For sure. It's epic. TV shows are like that. Like if you ever binge watched a show, it becomes like your life a little bit. Man, when I watched Sopranos for the first time, there are a couple shows I had dreams with the characters. I would have dreams of the show I was watching.
All right. Well, okay. So then we'll segue into my next point. You're talking about dreams. So 98 Rock does the Josh Spiegel sleep talk.
Oh, okay.
When they first introduced that, I don't even know how many years ago it was at this point. I'm like, I'm gonna get that app because I'm what I have labeled an aggressive sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
So I sleep talk.
You sleep talk?
Yes.
What do you mean you've been labeled as an aggressive sleeper?
I've labeled myself.
Oh, you've labeled yourself an aggressive sleeper.
As an aggressive sleeper.
You do anything physical?
Nah, I just toss and turn.
Okay.
But
Do you make sense when you talk?
Yeah. I have audio.
You've recorded it?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean like you have audio like you were planning on playing audio?
Yeah. If you wanted to.
I want to hear it.
I mean, I didn't know if like that was kind of ripping off what 98 Rock was doing.
They've recorded it and played it?
Josh Spiegel's, not mine.
Yeah. Oh, that's their segment. Yeah. No, well, we should still do it. I mean, it's interesting. You do sleep. It's not like it's a bit.
Nah. Well, I started doing it because 98 Rock introduced me into the app because I knew that I sleep talk.
Okay.
So then I started recording my sleep talking on and off throughout the years.
Damn, how much do you have?
Well, because it's not like I do it every day.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when you record it, then you have to go through each night.
Yeah.
So you could go through 45 minutes worth of recorded material, which is a lot. Because it's recording the whole night.
Right.
But it doesn't actually start to capture the sound until you reach the threshold of
But it
decibels.
could be turning over. It could be all sorts of things. It's sensitive to whatever. Yeah. So you still have to sift through it and find talking.
And a lot of the times it'll be like the dog getting up and shaking his ears or
the
scratching.
dog's talking.
Yeah, the dog is talking. He doesn't shut the fuck up.
Boring. Trying to listen to me.
That's a Joe Robinson thing.
What?
He goes, boring.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to hear that.
Yeah, I would love to hear you sleep talk.
Dude, I have a super cut. It's like 1 minute and 30 seconds long of my sleep talk audio that I have edited together. And
I'm ready.
It's farts, it's talks.
Farts. This is all while asleep.
Yeah, stone cold asleep. Hold on, I gotta find it real quick. There we are. All right, ready?
Yes.
Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
Forgot to. Second.
Uh-oh. He's not going to share this one with his friends either. I'm going to share it with his friends, though. This clip right here.
Yeah. My fuck up. All right.
Are we good to go?
Yeah, I think
Steve
so.
sleep talking. In 3, 2,
go.
Whoa.
Passionate out of everything.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not that much more expensive. It's our daughter's height. Pulled on it.
That's the dog.
Oh, okay. I thought that was farting. It's gasping for air from all the farts.
It's fucking stupid. It makes no sense. Dude, it's like fucking gnarly.
This is fucking gnarly.
I'm afraid it's gonna get out. Fucking no, stop saying that.
Hold on, this is my fucking. This is my favorite.
This final Mexican.
Hold on. There's this. I'm gonna rewind this because there's this little fucking whimper that comes out in the middle of the night. I don't know what it was, what I was dreaming about, but God, it made me laugh when I heard it.
Let me hear it.
This final Mexican mouse.
Oh, you went too far.
Oh.
Once you start clicking,
there
it is. That's not the dog.
No, that's me, dude.
Jeez. Do you ever remember? Do you ever wake up from it and remember what you were dreaming
Mexican
about?
mouse up.
Huh?
Do you ever wake up in the middle of it, or have you ever been woken up and you remember like what was going on or what you were seeing? Or
Sometimes, but most of the time, no, because my alarm wakes me up, so it kind of like scares me.
Yeah,
awake, and I kind of forget what I was dreaming about. But hold on, there's like 10 seconds more, if that 16 seconds more.
This final Mexican mouse up. Oh, I'm not.
final Mexican mouse.
I got 60 fucking yards of concrete saying otherwise.
Jeez.
Dude, that's all 100% real.
Man,
Just my dreams.
it makes you think. I mean, it's hilarious. It's funny. It's funny. I wonder about dreaming though in general, but so you've never sleepwalked?
No, I actually have. I've done it twice. But sleep talking is kind of more my thing.
Yeah, more your thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever sleep talked like that. Are you a hard sleeper?
In terms of
Like,
like
is it
when
hard to
I'm
wake
out,
you up?
Nah, I'd say like kind of middle of the road.
Yeah, I used to be a harder sleeper. I think anymore I'm a little bit lighter of a sleeper.
Yeah. The older I've gotten, the lighter it's gotten.
Yeah,
I used to be able to sleep till like fucking 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Jesus. That's insane. No, I've never been like that. I will tell you this. Every time I get used to sleeping next to somebody new, like I'm in a new relationship and I'm getting used to sleeping next to them, I feel like my first 7 to 10 times sleeping next to them, I fall asleep, but I never fully fall asleep. I'm hyper aware. I think I recognize every bit of movement. I could answer every question the second they asked it.
Yeah.
I'm like half awake, half asleep. Sleeping's interesting like that for sure. Have you ever had like spooky dreams or just really, really confusing stuff go on where
Pretty much
makes
every
you think
night.
you have some weird dreams?
Yeah, every night. Every night my dreams are full of like turmoil.
Turmoil.
Not every night.
Is it like normal life stuff?
Oh, no. It's like out of this world shit. The other night I was fighting aliens.
What do they look like?
I didn't see them. But I knew that they were coming in, and I had to like fortify my house. And
Oh my God.
yeah,
Was it intense to wake up from that? Or did you feel pretty normal to shake it off? Did it feel like, the dreams where it feels, takes you a minute, right?
the dreams that really fuck me up are the ones that are like real life dreams.
Yes.
Those are the dreams where like your mom dies or something, and you wake up and you're like, oh my God, what the fuck happened? Like I gotta call my mom or text my mom, make sure she's all right. The ones that involve like aliens and shit, that's when I wake up. I'm like, wow, that was just fucking weird. Otherwise, I'm good.
Yeah, I know that those type of dreams mess me up too. Like what'll happen is I'll have a dream where there's some sort of conflict or turmoil between somebody that I'm close to or that there's no conflict or turmoil with. And I'll either have to keep reminding myself that there's not, or like when I see them, it clicks that everything's okay. There's like a weird weight subconsciously that I hold when I have dreams like that. I will say the weirdest dreams I have. So like if I wake up from a night of sleep and I was dreaming, it was probably normal life type stuff. If I wake up and I've only been asleep for like half a minute or like I was like in and out of sleep, it's the trippiest shit ever. I have so many nights where I'm like, am I tripping? And I'm like half awake, half asleep. And then I might tell myself if I like think about it too much, I'll wake up. But if I don't think about it, I'll just fall asleep and forget. But really I wake up and I have a memory of thinking to myself, am I tripping? And like, it's like halfway between sleep and awake.
You know what that is?
What?
Lucid dreaming.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Have you ever looked into that?
A little bit, but like not in that style. I've heard that if you fall asleep on your back and like force yourself to lie on your back, you can get into lucid dreaming. And I've heard like if you do dream journals or the people who have the tells, like I've been into it more than the average person. Like I know if you knock doors and flip light switches, it'll cue yourself to do it in dreams. And if you do it in a dream and lights don't turn on and off, you know you're in a dream. If you knock on a door and you doesn't make any noise, you know you're in a dream. And those are things that people do get in the habit of doing and they wake up in their dreams. But I have a different style, which maybe is what you've heard and maybe is a form of lucid dreaming of as I'm falling asleep, the process of falling asleep reminds me of a trip. And I'm still kind of there. And then I'm aware of it as I kind of slip away. And I might be looking at a tree over like a purple background and the roots, there's like roots and they're turning into scorpions that are scurrying into snakes. And then I will realize that I've been looking at this for a while, what seems like a long time.
Jeez, that is more of a trip than a dream.
And you know what else it happens? Orgasms. Dude, when I have an orgasm, if I have an orgasm and I fall back and like I just let myself like kind of half fall asleep, half not, I will snap out of something about 8 to 12 minutes later and it will feel very distinctly. I mean, I'm comparing it to like a DMT trip, like a trip without the actual trip, but it feels similar in a floaty headspace where you're kind of in and out. It's not like it's like overly visual, but it feels trippy and it feels like another form of consciousness, like a sleeping state.
What are you, wet dreaming?
No, I mean, well, no, if you've had sex, not if I master, more so sex orgasm. Like if I have sex and roll over.
I'm confused. Are you talking about an orgasm in a dream?
No. I'm talking real life also. Oh. Like an actual orgasm will put me in a bizarre lucid dreaming type state. I would compare it to what it's like to falling asleep.
You know what? I won't disagree with that.
Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah.
Guys don't talk about stuff like this very often. Maybe if we Googled it, I'm sure we would find out that it is.
That it's a thing.
That I'm sure many people think of orgasms as being somewhat psychedelic, but I will tell you, it makes me feel like coming out of a trip when I finally like wake out of it and the feeling's gone. That like feeling of that, whatever that rush in your body and that floatiness, and it takes the weight of everything away. You're in a different headspace for a good 8 to 12 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I thought about this before. What if there was a drug that triggered in your brain the exact thing that happened in an orgasm to the fullest extent, or whatever the amount of drug you did? The orgasm drug.
So instead of cum in your pants, you just fucking like get the
I'm not sure if you would have to physically come or not, but either way, the experience is
instead of that. Like,
it's identical to an orgasm.
The mental and
maybe you snort it or you smoke it or you shoot it. I mean, whatever it is, it feels like orgasm, or it triggers it. Maybe there's something you could do. I don't know if it would be like an electronic thing. You put your whatever it is. I don't know how they would do it, but if there was a way, tantric sex. In general,
that's like edging, isn't it?
It's like not having sex, but having sex.
Yeah,
it's like energy.
You don't come. You like hold it back.
But the whole point is, it's like a paradox. It's like coming as a result of trying to come through means of not coming. So you're like trying to not come, but in a way, you kind of are trying to come, because I mean, I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Or maybe people have what they consider an internal orgasm in tantric sex. I think I saw this on one of them HBO real sex things one time. People were talking about it.
Middle school?
I think that's like that's my knowledge base on tantric sex. And my one buddy is real into it. He talks about it.
Really?
Yeah, dude. You know, one of them guys who just talks about their sex and it's like, they're really into it though. And he's brought it up multiple times.
Yeah. And there's one thing where you're like on the job and you're talking shit. And then there's the other aspect of it where that's all they talk about.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to talk to somebody who practices tantric sex.
Oh, we could bring him on. He's a little hippy-dippy with it now. He's intense when he talks about things, like kind of like me in that way, but he's a very big advocate of it. And honestly, it doesn't seem like many people have tried it and hated it or not liked it. It just seems like such a weird thing to want to try.
Does it involve busting a nut?
I think it's like it. You know how you know what Reiki is?
Yeah, it's like transfer of energy
it's
type
like
thing.
Reiki is to massage what tantric sex is to sex. I think the objective and the end result is similar through different means.
So there's no penetration.
I would say, yeah, I think tantric sex is almost no contact, but at least no contact. Like you're not in them. God and I don't think you can't be like fucking skin.
That's more of a reason to hate Sting.
Sting?
Yeah.
Oh, he's into tantric sex? Yeah. Oh, he's big into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I've never tried it and it's hard for me. I think you really need to believe in it too. And I just don't believe that stuff like that is for real. Like I've had a couple girls that I've talked to who think they're into Reiki and they try and do Reiki on you. You ever had that happen?
No.
Dude, I had a girl. Remember the girl who tried reading tarot cards on me on our 5th date?
Vaguely.
I'm not going to tell the story right now, but yeah, man. And the thing is,
get the fuck out of here.
You know, you don't want to make him feel awful.
Was she like rubbing crystals and shit on you?
That one, she did have crystals out. She wanted me to hold crystals and she was flipping over tarot cards and she was saying ridiculous stuff. But I don't want to get too into that. We could tell that story another time.
Yeah.
But I will say the Reiki girl was performing. I had ice on an injury in the middle of a fight camp. And she takes the ice pack off and says, I can just do Reiki on it.
She Miyagi'd you?
Yes, dude. And she's not even like that into Reiki. Like she's more into herself being the carrier of power.
Yeah, she wants
to. So you see through it.
Yeah, she just wants to tell people that she can do Reiki.
Now, my buddy Pete, he is a guy who believes in Reiki and believes that he can do Reiki and anybody can do Reiki. And he's like a super lives and breathes it. If anybody can do it, somebody like him probably can. This girl is not a candidate to actually do it. I don't even think she believes she can do it.
Yeah, she just tells people she can do it.
Yeah, if she believes it.
Just to say that she can do it.
Yeah, it's only via the power of placebo that has happened or something on her people. And then when they say that they feel better, it makes her think she can do it. It's like it enforces itself.
It's a mind over matter type thing.
Yeah. Like positive psychic reviews. Like you might not think you're a psychic, but if you start really trying, or people tell you there are crazy coincidences that you came up with, you might eventually believe your own shit.
Yeah, like John Edwards.
You think he believes?
Oh, that's another show I used to watch.
The John Edwards stuff?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it that much. It was on Sci-Fi, right?
No, it was on
45.
It was on 45.
Okay, Fox.
Yeah. So
I love that South Park episode. Have you seen the South Park episode parody of that?
Yeah.
It's not worth. Yeah. I think he gets it. I could be wrong. I believe I could be mixing up different celebrity spoofs. I believe he gets voted the biggest douche in the universe.
No.
Is that a different guy?
No.
That's not John Edwards.
It's the biggest piece of shit, and it's Bono.
No, you're thinking of a different thing. That's when they're maybe weighing the size of their turds or something, or I don't know what. Maybe that's a different episode too. There is one. I think John Edwards gets biggest douche in the universe. If it's not him,
you're probably right.
I don't. Yeah, there is a there. Maybe it's. It doesn't matter. That's why we need here soon. We'll have a computer. We can Google things occasionally. Well, you know, when we have a guest on, it'll be easier to do that. Like someone can kind of look
fuck
up
around
stuff
on their phone and
yes,
and then the other person can engage and
yeah. That would definitely be more doable. So that's something I like about podcasts. We need to figure a way to do that. Google being handy is nice. Even if it's just our phones are here. We don't need to literally Google that stuff. Yeah. But I do like when they do that. I'm a Google guy in general, though. You know that.
Oh, you're the Google king.
Speaking of favorites, dude, Googling Google. Is... Oh man, that's me. That's like the secret to my success.
Is Google.
Everything through me. I mean, not literally just Google, but like in layman's terms, it's essentially just Google. Whether I'm YouTubing stuff, looking up stuff on Google, whether I'm going to certain websites, for the most part, I just get into the search engine and my go-to is Google. And I live by the sword and die by the sword with Google. People think
I know you do.
I want to know, dude. The first thing I will say when there is a thing, and I know people hate that person.
I'm going to Google it.
We just Google it.
Yeah.
We don't need to not, if this is something we can look up. And people get so like you're challenging their character. Like, no, I might be wrong. You're the one who says you're right. Don't you believe that? That's why I want to go check.
I'm kind of like that in that respect, but not as intense as you are about it. But when there's a debate going on and someone is questioning my knowledge of a topic, I'm like, you got a fucking computer in your pocket.
Yeah.
Look it up. If you think you're so right and I'm so fucking wrong, then type it into your fucking phone.
Then they say, you just can't trust everything you read, or let me see, well, what did you type? And people get nutty
Wikipedia.
about it, man. The people hate when they're wrong about stuff like that, and you pull it up. But honestly, and I am very confrontational about it. This is what I would describe as like the East Coast, like assertive type side of it. Because I'll be like, dude, we're going to Google it. Like it's not worth debating right now. Or if it's something I've already Googled, because there's circles, patterns emerge. And when the more times you go down this pattern and rabbit hole with people, and the more often you like make little mental notes to Google stuff later, I can't tell you the Google benders I've been on at night. Like an hour of just straight looking up stuff that I've thought of recently. And then it leads to other curious things. And then I'm looking up like the most dangerous dog bites by, PSI and all this. And it leads to the most intelligent animals.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I'm just watching funny dog videos. But no, the Google rabbit hole, when it comes up and I know I'm right. If I know I'm right, I can be like an asshole about it. I'm like, dude, it's not up for fucking debate.
Oh, I know. I've seen it.
Yeah, I get serious.
And I've been on the receiving end of it.
Yeah. That's probably the easiest way to get in like a confrontation or irritate me is when we go down into that. Or I would say it's when people feel I'm the most confrontational anymore, is when I'm talking about getting Google out. I'm serious. People... Nobody's like, yeah, let's do it. It's rare. And I'm in that conversation a lot.
Most people are like, nah, you don't have to do that, man. Don't worry about it.
It doesn't fucking matter, dude.
I don't fucking care. Fuck you.
And I'm wrong a lot of times. I think it's funny because so many times people have been like scared about me Googling it, and then I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And it does happen. I was like a year, you're doing stuff.
It's like once. It's happened like once.
I mean, I'm an experienced Googler, and I definitely try to be the person that doesn't misspeak about that kind of stuff. If I'm obsessive compulsive, it's misspeaking. Like I don't even like to say that unless I feel so fucking strongly, I don't call stuff bad. I'll just say, I think this, I think that, unless we're really just talking shit. Like, oh, that was so fucking awful. Yeah. I'm very careful about like what can be taken as being unrealistic or not open-minded or what. It doesn't mean I am. It's just my phrasing. I try to be.
You know what I've learned to do that with?
What's that?
Is with music.
Yeah.
Because I have a pretty specific taste of music that I like, and I really don't stray from that. I mean, I do, but I don't.
Yeah.
But when someone is like, hey man, do you like Alter Bridge? it's like, yeah, you know, I really haven't listened to them that much.
Yeah.
When really you want to be like, yeah, they fucking suck.
I know exactly what you mean. And I'm much gentler. I've met enough people who are very, very smart, who I respect with just so much adoration, who like really awful music or things that I think is just so simple-minded, and it speaks so much to them that I just have to respect the feeling, and I've grown a respect for what's popular more than I used to have. Like the punk rock attitude in me or whatever used to say, fuck everything that was popular. It sucked. And that's why especially when you bring up stuff like Alter Bridge, because they came out at a time when we were a little younger. Maybe they came from like Creed type shit, right?
That was just a fucking example.
But you get what I mean.
I honestly
Linkin Park.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you an Alter Bridge song.
When I think of bands I hate, I have to kind of like, and things I passionately dislike, I have to kind of go back to high school. Because it was shoved in your face and you got associated with it. Like being into very nuanced, extreme heavy music between, sludge metal, grindcore, death metal, all sorts, black metal, all the technical post metal shit. That all is such a little bit more of a palette that they've developed and refined, and then when you just get lumped in as you like stuff like Disturbed and Godsmack and Slipknot, and I mean Slipknot might be more technical than some of the bands that I like that are sludge metal, right? But you're so used to just like spewing venom at these bands, and like the Puddle of Mud, Creed stuff. If you were really into grungy rock, like when those bands started coming out. That wave, like Creed especially, it was like, oh my fucking God, what has happened to rock? But anymore, what is the most grating type of music to your ears?
Like what I hate the most.
What would you just say sucks? If you had to sign your name, this fucking sucks.
Fucking modern day rap.
Modern day rap.
Modern day rap is the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard.
Yes.
It's fucking terrible. There's no talent involved. Give me 5 days and I could write a better rap song.
But that's the art of it, is that it's not good rap. It's just there's like a thing that I don't know what connects people to it. It's a swagger. The song has a certain swagger that like what is it? What makes it good?
The only good part of any of those songs is the fucking beat.
Yeah.
And then any of the lil rappers nowadays are fucking terrible. Like that style. The mumble rap bullshit.
Yeah, man. I'm more of a rap purist in that I want technical lyrics.
Yeah.
I want rhyme schemes. I want wordplay. I want content. I want it all. Like I want a damn impressive.
I want to hear a fucking lyric and then be like, oh shit, I got to rewind that and hear that.
I mean, that's ultimately why I'm listening to. I mean, the beat sets the tone, but I'm listening to hear you rap. I want content. It needs to be poetic, funny, anything, dynamic too, all over the place. The best rappers, I mean, for me, and it's the lyrics are long. It's like a book these motherfuckers are putting out.
And it's not just the same fucking verse like 10 times.
It's not hook-based rap. See, I can't get my head around, and I think it's just too hard for rich people to put in work the way they used to. Like Jay-Z's a good example, and I don't even like Jay-Z's early stuff that much. It's monotonous, but it's good sounding, and it's very impressive in its own right, I'm sure. I don't have a good ear for it. But he's one that got so much more hook-based and poppy, but his first stuff is just verses and verses, like Nas, back when that stuff was coming out, it's just verse heavy.
Fucking Nas.
Yeah.
Illmatic.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
that
so good.
Album rocks.
So good. And that's one where the beats sound good, but they're like the same. It's like some of them might be 4 bars or like, I don't know how many bars, or no more than like probably a 4-bar beat. Where it's like a very basic 4 bars repeated.
Just a sample looped over.
Yeah, I think almost all of them, or I could be speaking in music terms wrong there. And I think about that some. Steve Kirk, the guy who does all the guitar work for me and stuff, he has a very good ear for what would sound good to people, and he has a good sense of what is accessible. But because he is as good at music as he is, and because he has the taste that he does, in contrast to what most people like, it makes somebody who's way better at guitar than the average person maybe not have a sound that anybody outside of like people into that they definitely wouldn't give it the time of day. If they just heard a sample of it, like, you know, it came on the radio, they would probably skip it. Now, if they sat through a performance or sat through a whole thing, they probably would come to appreciate parts of it. That being said, there are people within his circle, maybe not him specifically, who are musically talented, but it makes me think of it when I hear the stuff he puts out. It's like, what is the audience for this? What is the marketable nature? And it's like, this guy who's so good at this, he's a mastermind with all this stuff. He's putting out what might be a very, very, very high level product for what it is, but who's going to like it? And when you think of the most technical musicians, like, people always gravitate towards like Rush and bands like that. Mm-hmm. But outside of a few, name a big popular musician that's actually musically blows you away.
Are we talking about bands?
Something that's extremely technical, or from what you acknowledge as impressive musically, whether it's great feeling, that Carlos Santana, or like just straight up being able to shred. When I think of the most impressive metal acts, because metal is probably the easiest one for the layman to be able to have an ear for, that is clearly the most complex.
Because they're playing in weird timing.
Yes.
And the fucking guitars are like drop tuning, and then their solos just
the solos
shred.
You just know, and they're written as such. People herald them that way. It's pretty subject. I mean, it's not as subjective when it's like that style of playing out. Same with like rock bands that play out, whether it's jammy or like prog rock bands, or you can listen to a Pink Floyd, at least certain songs, and hear the musical scope and be impressed. But like, I mean, here's a good example. Frank Zappa, who is considered by many people to be the best music mastermind ever, is accessible to almost nobody who's a fan of music, dude. Like, try and find albums that you like of his.
It's weird.
It's tough to get into, and I love people like him.
It's a niche audience.
And I'm a fan of that stuff.
Yeah.
So many people say they like Frank Zappa, and you go to Talk Shop, like, what albums do you like? Like, do you listen to any of the classical stuff, the instrumental? Dude, they know like one or two albums and typically just a handful of songs. Not everybody, and Frank Zappa has gone on record to talk about Jimi Hendrix and say that he wished he had more theory so he could have expressed himself more. Basically saying that
Zappa wishes that
Hendrix
could have expressed himself more.
So Zappa being respected as maybe the highest level of like music IQ, talking about what people consider to be the greatest guitar player, frontman, whatever, possibly of all time. Hendrix might get that title of just iconic guitar player, revolutionary, rock guitar, whatever. And Zappa was like, it's kind of boring. I mean, I don't have a mind like Zappa for music.
But Zappa's also got had a completely different mind. So he was very experimental in terms of like sounds and tones and what can I do with this and how can I make this happen and what if I do this with my voice. Meanwhile, Hendrix had that same thought process, but it was all manifested on the 24 frets of the guitar, or whatever it is. So Hendrix was like, I'm gonna take this. Not to mention Hendrix also he took a right-handed guitar and strung it upside down because he was left-handed.
Yeah.
So he was playing it all backwards, and Hendrix is like, this is my canvas. So Hendrix canvas, that's where I kind of disagree with Zappa in that aspect. Is Hendrix was sloppy, but Zappa was looking at it as a broad picture of, I'm gonna paint this musical artscape.
And he's clearly not right. It's a paradox. We can't understand until you've experienced and know music like Zappa knows it. You can't understand completely what he's referring to. He could explain in a way that maybe makes sense, but it probably makes more sense with people who are into classical composition, people who are musical virtuosos. This is what's crazy is like how bad some high level people are at their instruments or are not. It's nothing musically technical, pop music in general. People connect to it. There's a feeling, there's something, but it's hard to put your finger on.
It's catchy as fuck. That's the biggest thing with pop music is the hook. Is it catchy? Is it something you can bob your head to? Is it mindless? Lyrics really don't give a shit as long as the performer can sing the verse well. That's really all that matters in pop music, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is it a good beat? Does it have a good feeling? And is it catchy? Because I fucking love pop. I mean, I come from like a punk rock background, much like you, listening to a bunch of underground like hardcore shit. But there's some pop songs that I'm just like, fuck, I love this song.
Yeah, I've gotten less picky as I get older.
It's simple, it's mindless, it's catchy as fuck. It's got like you can pick up the mood. I typically kind of sway more towards the upbeat pop songs. Yeah. Like the more positive ones. Regardless of the message, if the beat feels more positive to me, those are the ones that I typically am going to like more.
Yeah.
And I'll listen to that shit all day.
Yes. Here's a question for you, especially since we're probably towards the end of this. We're at like the hour 10 mark or something.
Yeah,
the last thing that I'll cover with like favorites, talking on music, what would you say is like your favorite thing to appreciate or look for in a band or like a musical act, a musician? What is like, if you could describe the thing you like the most?
The thing I'm like the most about a band? Man, I don't even know. I don't know. Yeah. What would you say? Okay. Maybe that'll give me a better idea of how you want me to answer that question.
For me, I would say, especially when we were talking about how like in pop music, everyone loves a sound or a thing and like people fall in love with that sound. And I think it's a thing in pop that people really stick to their sound. I really appreciate an unpredictable nature between what might they release as the next album. So if one album sounds like itself, like a good example of that, Queens of the Stone Age will have like maybe more like stoic, kind of like softer songs and maybe a little heavier songs, but one album might sound like a sound. Every album that's released is almost a whole new identity. Or you have a band like I grew up on that band Dog Fashion Disco. They're obscure, but the nature of the band was they would play heavy metal parts. It would be funk parts. It would be this. It was all different styles of music. Anything you could imagine, it could sound like. And I don't always like it to that extreme of a nature, but I definitely like something unpredictable, even if it's just a singer-songwriter that's willing to go anywhere in a song, even if it's stripped down musically and repetitive. Just so open and honest that it could go anywhere, lyrically, musically, whatever. I like that. But that doesn't help because I'd say that's a different answer. Some people are like, I just really like something catchy. Like the second you listen to it, you know that you're going to like it. I like a good drum that keeps a good thing. You know, some people say whatever it is, maybe you don't have one that's easy to answer. So you don't have to have an answer for sure. It's not easy to come up with that kind of shit on the spot, but
I'd say off the top of my head, I love hard, aggressive drums.
Yeah.
I like fucking hard hitting, fast drums. That's what's going to draw me into a song first.
Okay.
That's the first thing I'm going to listen to in a song is what are the drums doing?
Yeah.
And that kind of might draw back to my rhythm background of like playing bass, and then drum and bass are the rhythm section.
But I definitely like, I'm with you on, especially like more like faster pace rock or like faster pace heavy music, the drums are crucial.
Yeah.
I mean, even in slower music, but then it becomes more about like the riffs for me, but like faster, anything driving, dude, the drums are in control for the way I hear it.
Because I've always, and we were talking about this, or no, we weren't talking about it. I was thinking about it because you were kind of talking about like, let's get people to know us type deal. And then I started thinking about like my musical taste. And I've always, from as far back as I can remember, I've always been drawn to faster, harder, aggressive types of music. So like if a song's going to open up with just like the drums rocking and just in your fucking face, then that's what's gonna like pique my interest and be like, all right, I'm gonna give this a chance. I'm gonna give it more than 15 seconds and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, so is there anything else you wanted to cover before we?
No, not really. I mean, there was one more thing that I had on here, but
would it take a while?
I mean, we're already
we're good.
We're at 75 minutes.
Yeah.
We're good. We can maybe just carry that over into
that's something that
episode.
can be running. That's something that can be, especially when it's just me and you. Yeah. I like the idea of that. Listing stuff throughout the week, we could bring up anything that pops in your head, even if we just immediately shoot it down, like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
I like doing it. I like reading it for the first time on the show too.
And that's, you know what? It's good you said that because I was thinking about like either sending you a screenshot or talking about it before we started recording, but then the other part of me was like, no, let's just bring it up fresh because then you'll have a different perspective on it or like off the cuff perspective as opposed to sitting there and thinking about it for a day or a couple of days type deal. And instead of looking too much into it.
Yeah. All right. That is our third episode. Hopefully next time we have a guest. It may or may not be Tommy Simbazo, but
hopefully it is.
Yes. If not, it'll be someone fun.
Yep.
So cool. See you
later.